Okay, so let's talk to the people, Matt. We bring them in early and often. Again, folks out there pretend it's just a talk radio show, except we get to see your pretty face. Eric in New Hampshire will be up first, but you all get to join us. Again, hit the on-air button, or I guess it's a fan line button, the fan line button in the upper right-hand corner, and you can join us as well. Eric in New Hampshire will join Matt Boston Sports with the Bruins talk. Go ahead, Eric. How you doing?
Good, man. How are we doing today?
Excellent.
So I was talking last week about Tuukka, how I don't believe him, and I still don't. But I guess my question is, if we're buying into this team and we're going to try to not feel the way we feel about the Bruins overall, what's the weakness? What is the weak point on this team? And, like, let's not just say it's easy and it's Tuukka. For this team, as good as they surprisingly are, where could they falter? Where do they falter?
Great, okay, good question, Matt. If and when they lose, how do they lose?
Well, I think beyond the fact that we don't know what some of these younger guys are going to do in the postseason, I think you look at that second defense pair right now with Torrey Krug and Brandon Carlo. You know, some of the matchups are tough on Torrey Krug. I mean, let's face it, as for all the grit and determination he has, he can't overcome his size disadvantage. And we've seen Brandon Carlo have some really rough nights, and we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet. And if you always look back and use 2011 as the template, you know, you had Chara and Seidenberg one pair, and then you had Ferenc Boychuk was that second pair, and that second pair doesn't get enough credit for all the ways it played well.
Eric, you know, to me, it's the second line or the second D pair. I think they're third and fourth lines. I think that Nash line has been their second best line all season long. Their fourth line has been just tremendous. The first line is the best line in hockey, all right? And I think the first pair of Chara and McAvoy is great as well. So I think you're really looking at the Krejci line or that second D pair. Like, that to me feels like the soft spot on the team.
When you talk about, like, comparing it to 2011, do you think that that's a fair comparison when you say, like, the game has changed so much? Like, 2011 had Thornton running around, you know, throwing weight, and those guys aren't there anymore. So at that point where you had that weight, those anchors for that second pair, could you make the argument that even, you know, the structure of how you line your defense is a little different than what it is or what it used to be?
Eric, thanks for calling in. We'll drop you and continue. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I just think that the game has changed, but I think every team that you're facing in the playoffs is going to have at least two lines. I mean, you start off right now, the matchup looks like Toronto. We know what Chara and the Bergeron line can do against Matthews, but what can they do? What can the second pair do against, you know, a Kadri line or a Bozak line, depending on how Toronto lines it up? I mean, you're always going to have to face a deeper team than you would have to face, you know, facing Ottawa or Calgary, Edmonton, whatever they've been facing, you know, on a nightly basis.